ducal family, and thus barred by long custom from serving in the field. When at the tender age of 22 he'd been approached to create a network of English spies on foreign soil, he leapt at the chance. Not only had it offered the prospect of contributing to Napoleon's defeat, but with his extensive personal and family contacts, combined with his inherent ability to inspire and command, the position was tailor-made. From the first, it had fitted him like a glove. But to his father, the position had been a disgrace to the name and title, a blot on the family escutcheon. His old-fashioned views had labelled spying as without question dishonourable, even if one was spying on active military enemies. It was a view shared by many senior peers at the time. Bad enough. But when Royce had refused to decline the commission, his father had organised an ambush. A public one, in White's, at a time of the evening when the club was always crowded. With his cronies at his back, his father had passed public judgment on Royce in strident and excoriating terms. As his peroration, his father had triumphantly declared that if Royce refused to bow to his edict and instead served in the capacity for which he'd been recruited, then it would be as if he, the 9th Duke, had no son. Even in the white rage his father's attack had provoked, Royce had noted that, as if, he was his father's only legitimate son. No matter how furious, his father would not formally disinherit him. The interdict would, however, banish him from all family lands. Facing his apoplectic sire over the crimson carpet of the exclusive club, surrounded by an army of fascinated aristocracy, he'd waited, unresponsive, until his father had finished his well-rehearsed speech. He'd waited until the expectant silence surrounding them had grown thick. Then he'd uttered 3 words. "As you wish." Then he'd turned and walked from the club, and from that day forth had ceased to be his father's son. From that day, he'd been known as Dalziel, a name taken from an obscure branch of his mother's family tree, fitting enough given it was his maternal grandfather, by then dead, who had taught him the creed by which he'd chosen to live. While the Variseys were marcher lords, the de Breys were no less powerful, but their lands lay in the heart of England, and they'd served king and country, principally country, selflessly for centuries. De Breys had stood both as warriors and statesmen at the right hand of countless monarchs. Duty to their people was bred deeply in them. While deploring the rift with his father, the de Breys had approved Royce's stance, yet, sensitive even then to the dynamics of power, he discouraged their active support. His uncle, the Earl of Catersham, had written asking if there was anything he could do. Royce had replied in the negative, as he had to his mother's similar query. His fight was with his father, and should involve no one else. That had been his decision, one he'd adhered to throughout the subsequent 16 years. None of them had expected vanquishing Napoleon to take so long. But it had. Through those years, he'd recruited the best of his generation of guards, organized them into a network of secret operatives, and successfully placed them throughout Napoleon's territories. Their success had become the stuff of legend. Those who knew correctly credited his network with saving countless British lives and contributing directly to Napoleon's downfall. His success on that stage had been sweet. However, with Napoleon on his way to St. Helena, he'd disbanded his crew, releasing them to their civilian lives. And as of Monday, he too had left his former life, Dalziel's life, behind. He hadn't, however, expected to assume any title beyond the courtesy one of Marquess of Winchelsea. Hadn't expected to immediately assume control of the dukedom and all it comprised. His ongoing banishment, he'd never expected his father to back down any more than he himself had effectively estranged him from the dukedom's houses, lands, and people, and most especially from the one place that meant most to him, Wolverstone itself. The castle was far more than just a home. The stone walls and battlements held something, some magic that resonated in his blood, in his heart, in his soul. His father had known.